Hello there, English speakers. Today we'll talk a little bit about spending money on foreigners, bullshit, and vaccines, vitamin D, and the international system for quoted refugees. And then, in the end, you can turn it off if you don't like disgusting stuff that you can or cannot eat, maybe, because you still have some sort of taste left. But I think it's really funny. That's why I'm talking about it. But if you don't like it, turn this off when I warn you. And see you tonight at first in Swedish at 7 and then at 8 o'clock or 2 p.m. Eastern USA time with some live chat. I will talk about distractions, I will talk about brainwashing and the group mentality and how great thinkers get stuff wrong too, and why that might be the case, or why I might be wrong also. But let's start with taking a big, deep breath. So, that is the path that the dog thinks is a great idea. The path ends in a tree. So, yeah. I got the question, is it the dog that walks me or me that walks the dog? 90% of the time it's the dog that walks me. But when she's doing like that, well, we can't climb trees. We can, but it's really annoying. First of all, great thanks for all the bad tips I get. I will basically be quite rude and just say it's total bullshit, but I need to know about other people reporting total bullshit so that I can warn you about it, so that you don't spend your time on total bullshit that have no good value for you. For example, we have hundreds of stuff, some video with Joe Biden doing something, and then, oh, is it a real Bible? What did he say? Did he have an earpiece in when he talked about the Marines? And so on and so on. Is he signing blank papers instead of executive orders? It's a foot up, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. That will change absolutely nothing. Sitting and watching and spreading these videos that have no bearings, it doesn't mean what you think it means, and you will spend a lot of time on useless stuff instead of, for example, following the the legal processes in Arizona and Massachusetts and so on, which actually can change stuff and get people into prison. If Joe Biden is signing blank papers because they think it looks better on video, that would change absolutely nothing, even if it's true and not fake. So I will try to stay focused on stuff that helps you and get you prepared for what is coming or not coming, so that you can, get a better life. What is happening is that the Democrats in USA are trying to give away 3 trillion US dollars to IMF. That's a lot of money. So they don't give it away, it's like a loan, but it goes to criminals and dictators and so on. So why on earth? That's just a waste of money. I've linked to a Democrat who speaks out against it down below. And then Hank Aaron, some sort of sporting person or former sporting person, died after vaccination, so not really nice. We have a list of people who have died after vaccinations below here. Another article. I must emphasize that if you are thinking about taking the vaccine, you need to be prepared with high vitamin D levels, good levels of minerals and other vitamins, and you need to have your blood sugars in order. Otherwise, even a safe vaccine could be a big problem if these vaccines are safe, which I will not speak about. So vitamin D, they have done a study here, and it turns out that if you live in a place where the sun stops rising high enough to get UVB down to the surface, then soon after the vitamin D levels in the population have gone down, then you will have the COVID outbreak last autumn. So to get vitamin D, you need a sun that is high up in the sky. So here in Sweden, it basically needs to be summer and lunchtime. Otherwise, you will make no vitamin D in your skin. So you only have this long wave UVA that comes down to the surface, and it will burn deep in your body, and it will give you cancer, but you will not create any vitamin D despite getting burned. So that's just bad. I reported this the last spring about that the weather, when it's about 5 to 11 degrees Celsius, so quite a bit between room temperature and freezing. At that time, if you have cloudiness and it's not too wet and it's not too dry, at that circumstances the viruses can spread in an entire town and fill up the streets so that everyone gets infected at once. I think that might have happened at springtime, it seems so, according to those studies. But this study that have investigated what happened this autumn, that didn't happen. I think it's because everyone who lived in cities that had this weather condition where COVID could spread on the streets, they are now all immune or dead, unfortunately. So this spreading outdoors, if you live in an area where this happened, then you're already immune. And if you don't live in such area where you have crowded streets and this kind of temperatures, well, then it's not going to affect you anyway. If you're out here in the forest, it doesn't matter what weather it is, because, well, there is not enough humans to infect me in any way. So don't worry about the weather, worry only about vitamin D levels, and of course zinc and minerals and other vitamins too, and eat your eggs to get vitamin K2. So this system that UN, the most, I wouldn't say the most, but one of the top most corrupt organizations on earth, they have something, a quote system for refugees. So they have people in camps, basically concentration camps, and they can't return to their home country for reasons, and no one wants to take them. So then they hand out these poor people as pets, basically. So here you have one village up far above the polar circle. Here, have some pets, and you have to fund them because they don't know your language. They have no skills in your nature. They come from a totally different environment, and you will probably have to support them for the rest of their lives, and they will not become happy, and the taxpayers will not become happy. Why not solve the problem? Give them a good place to live where they have people speaking their language, and similar culture and similar nature to their home countries, and this will cost way less and it will create a way better life for them. But instead we use this despicable, human-hating, expensive system that the globalists have put in basically. Not a nice system. We need to actually solve problems instead of doing this kind of crap that's not nice and just stupid. Good news though, Tse Loop, a Chinese-born drug lord, have been arrested in the Netherlands on orders from Australia. So that's nice. We'll see, is this internal fight in the criminal deep state? Probably. Or are they trying to actually make a more honest world? Maybe. At least it's good that they try to arrest him, and maybe we can get a little bit less corrupt world. This could help you first of all understand that there are reasons why some politicians do as they do, because they are threatened by international drug lords and other very bad stuff. So that's why these news are important for you. Interesting talk here about why the Chinese Communist Party is so desperate to take over USA and other Western countries. It's because they are losing their grip on their own country. There are really no proof of that in this talk, but interesting idea and kind of makes your mood better. So that's why I think it's a useful idea to have. And now, for everyone, if you don't like disgusting food, but this is really fun, you can turn off now, and we see you tonight at 8 o'clock Central European time, 2 o'clock Eastern American time. So in Old Rome they ate something called garum. So you take some small fish, you put it in an amphora, then you put sea salt on top of it, and then you put more fish and more sea salt, and then you put that amphora into the sun. Well, I mean, you put it in the sunshine, you don't actually move it to that big ball of liquid hydrogen. So what happens? The intestines in the fish is filled with bacteria that will dissolve basically everything. For example, the fish that's around it. So the fish's bacteria will eat up itself, and it will ferment, and it will stink like crazy. You can also watch some videos on YouTube about people trying the Swedish surströmming, which is rotten fish. So the Romans did this too, but they didn't eat the fish. Instead, they let this fish rot together with the sea salt, and what happens is that you will get a liquid, and then you take this liquid, and it's very yummy, smells like rotten fish, of course, tastes like rotten fish, and people loved it. They also had very strict regulations, so if you want to produce this garum, you have to be miles away from anyone else, because apparently not everyone loved this stuff. It's probably very healthy, good for your, well, a lot of nutrition and stuff in it, and it probably scares away all barbarians because, well, it smells like rotten fish. So now you know how to do it, and then you can be your neighborhood's favorite by making this. And then, if you don't want the bad smell and you only want really bad texture, You can put first of all salmon in a blender, and then you put some chemicals in it, and then you can make foamy whipped cream of it, sort of same thing. It tastes like salmon, but with a totally revolting texture. And you can do the same thing with steak. So if you want to see that, link below. Really not useful, but really funny. And with that, I hope no one was eating and hearing about this, but those videos are nice. And with that, I hope no one is complaining about me saying that you can make some sort of fish balls by putting small fish in a blender and then put some onion and stuff in it, maybe some cheese and other good stuff. I don't know if it works or if the bones will be still there even after the blending. I want someone else to try it because I don't want to.